So for the first season of Power Rangers, there were over 60 episodes worth of monsters that Rita Repulsa had made throughout different forms and shapes and sizes, and also some monsters based on particular items that of the week that the Rangers had for those episodes and the themes of those episodes, whether it be a monster based on anything Kimberly had, anything Trini had, anything Billy had, so forth, or any monster to accumulate on the Rangers' own fears. So for the season 1 monsters, I will count down at least 10 of those monsters from the first season of Mighty Morphin that are my favorites, because while there have been so many monsters lifted from Zoo Ranger and Power Rangers' own Zoo 2 footage, there have been over 61 some monsters they've done over the course of that first season. So let's dive in and tell you what are my top 10 favorite season 1 monsters. Right off the bat at number 10 is Mighty Minotaur from the Teamwork episode. Mighty Minotaur is a very easy monster to do, because Mighty Minotaur was our very first Centaur monster in the franchise, and I actually liked it how Mighty Minotaur was very reminiscent to that of an old Ray Harryhausen stop motion Minotaur monster from one of the Sinbad movies, but for Power Rangers, and lifted from Zoo Ranger's early batch of few episodes. And it was exactly around the same episode when we were introduced to the Rangers' weapon arsenal for the very first time, that being their power weapons, that being Jason's sword, Kimberly's bow, Zach's axe, etc. And I actually think Mighty Minotaur was an unformidable monster that Rita did send to take down the Rangers, giving them much beginning of harsher challenges facing her monsters of the week. Nasty Knight was another monster that's one of my other favorites from season 1, from Zach's birthday episode. And Nasty Knight was perhaps one of the most powerful monsters Rita ever sent to take down the Rangers so thoroughly and quickly, but only just abolished their weapons that thoroughly. That's crazy. And only 6 or 7 episodes into, the franchise so soon, and she just unleashed a monster that was, whose sword and shield was so powerful than the Rangers' own weapons. That it has to be some powerful might that Nasty Knight really had. Especially, he wasn't an unformidable issue for Zach to deal with, even as the Black Ranger, making his birthday a wreck. Okay, as for Scorpina's pet worm monster. That pet worm monster looks like an early prototype of Pokemon, but for Power Rangers. And I actually thought that, encasing the Rangers in a red cocoon was something useful for him to do. And I thought Scorpina actually took up a notch, taking down the Rangers using that worm monster of hers. But, I guess maybe his power was probably useless, but his costume design was interesting, to say the least. Snizzard is another monster from season 1 I like, because Snizzard, well, in his first appearance, he was voiced by the great Bryan Cranston, who would also voice another monster in the season of Mighty Morphin. And Snizzard was quite an unformidable foe for the 4 remaining Rangers, while Kimberly was still stuck on the plane with Bulk and Skull and her Uncle Steve. But Snizzard, I actually liked his design. I liked that he was a Cobra Viper that was, it was more like, it's just basically a rattlesnake. I thought it was a Cobra, but it's close enough looking like a Cobra. And I actually thought he was quite a challenge for the team. For at least one Zoo 2 monster that they unleashed in the first season. One of my other monsters from season 1, this one's a Zoo 2 one. Mantis from Trini's Plague of the Mantis episode, which is one of my favorite Trini episodes from the first season. I actually liked that the Mantis costume. I liked how the Mantis was a proven challenge for Trini, because Trini was already going through something she was doing in terms of her development of being a karate, a martial artist, and she was, she has to learn the way of trying to beat the Mantis at his/her own game. Because even when I heard the Mantis's voice, it sounded like female, but the way how some of the movements was, the Mantis was like a male, but it had a female voice. But it was one interesting Zoo2 monster for Trini to face. Alright, so at number 5, I got Madame Woe from Peace, Love, and Woe. A personal favorite Billy episode of mine, but Madame Woe, again, the only reason I liked it, Madame Woe, was because, well, you guessed it, Lois Griffin, a Family Guy herself, did the voice of this monster. Alex Borstein. Alex Borstein had some involvement with Power Rangers, so she can't run away from this, because even on her resume as a voice actress and a comedian. But when Borstein did the voice of Madame Woe, she actually brought some mysticism and witchery to that voice, and even encasing the Rangers in her, her blue gem that's on top of her chest, and even with the necklace. I mean, but either way, but it's mostly on her forehead, and the Rangers, the only way how they have to defeat Madame Woe is they have to figure a way to destroy her blue diamond that's on her forehead. But it was really all Billy, because again, this was his episode, so he had to take down Madame Woe, because and then not to mention they had to save the girl of the week that Billy had a crush on in that same episode. So Madame Woe is number 5 for me with this at that point, and I really liked the costume of the character. It's just so easy look, so easy to sketch up. So the 4th favorite season 1 monster of mine, I got one. Samurai Fan Man. Samurai Fan Man was from a Kimberly episode that, it was one of those bad day episodes for a Power Ranger. One of our first Ranger has a bad day kind of episode. So Samurai Fan Man had to make things a lot worse for Kimberly by encasing her in his jar. But if you know that in the Zoo Ranger Sentai, Samurai Fan Man captured the Pink Ranger, but also the kids of the week, even though we had the kid, cut the kid subplot out for our version. But Samurai Fan Man, he would take his jar, which looked like a peanut, and would capture his opponent, capture his enemies inside the jar, but only mostly Kimberly. And he can also use that fan because that's why he's called Samurai Fan Man, right? So he has to use his fan to waver and move the Rangers away, blow them off, and then that's it. And again, Samurai Fan Man, I also liked his design because it looked so anime-like, an anime samurai warrior up to no good. So again, he's another one. Alright, well, I gotta cut this short, so I don't want to choose Pudgy Pig because he's just too iconic to bring up. So instead, number 3 is the Dark Warrior. The Dark Warrior is a monster from that Billy and Trini episode with the scientists. And the Dark Warrior was our first ninja-themed monster in Power Rangers. So the Dark Warrior was quite a formidable monster of the week that Rita sent to take down the Rangers. Given that, again, from the Zoo Ranger source that he came from with the footage, Zoo Ranger had their ninja episode, but it made sense to bring the Dark Warrior into Power Rangers in this episode. I wanted to, know into the fact that I wish that episode should have been supposedly supposed to be before Greenwood Evil, but according to the episode listings and stuff, Switching Places comes before Greenwood Evil. Dark Warrior is before Switching Places. But personally, I would have put the Dark Warrior episode before Greenwood Evil, so that way, because knowing it would lead us straight to Jason's first martial arts tournament with Tommy in that 5-part saga. And the Dark Warrior, I really like his costume design. I like the weapon he uses to try to take down the Rangers. Although if he used a nunchuck, again, nunchucks are not allowed in So he had something, and a chain with a scythe on it. And I really like how formidable he was, badass, and like, I am the Dark Warrior, you will not defeat me, and that sort of thing like that. So, okay, number 2, I'm going to top it off with at least 2 monsters that I really, really like. And well, there have been so many episodes of season 1, and so many monsters Rita sent in season 1 to take down the Rangers, making their day worse. I gotta go with another Zoo 2 monster, and it's a very popular one. Pumpkin Wrapper. So Pumpkin Wrapper, I wanted to put him at number 1, but no, he's a number 2. Pumpkin Wrapper, the reason what makes this guy so iconic is that when the Rangers went to his pumpkin patch in one of my favorite Halloween episodes of the franchise, Trick or Treat, the Rangers go to Pumpkin Wrapper's pumpkin patch, right? And they go around to see what the disturbance was, and then when the Rangers pick up these odd looking pumpkins, and then when they get the pumpkin so close up to their faces, the pumpkin, that iconic, oh, the pumpkin is on my face, a kid, but that's the thing with the Pumpkin Wrapper. And also, while his rapping style makes a lot of iconic rappers like, those of NWA or DMX, rest in peace, or Tupac look stupid in comparison, but when you have a rapping pumpkin monster in Power Rangers, but that's what made this guy so interesting. I even liked how he throws pumpkin bombs at the Rangers and stuff. I mean, this dude is such a favorite to me, and I'm glad that this guy finally has a Lightning Collection figure, and I'm definitely going to get my hands on his figure when I get around it in the reviews, but well, I'll talk more about that when I do get my hands on him in my review for him on this channel. But Pumpkin Wrapper is a number 2. And my number 1 favorite season 1 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers monster is inevitably King Sphinx. Well, I told you I don't want Pudgy Pig on the list because it's like we know that it's a pig monster that eats up stuff and even ate the Rangers as weapons in that food fight episode. So screw Pudgy Pig. Instead, King Sphinx all the way, because King Sphinx was more of a partnered adversary for Goldar back in the early episodes of season 1 MMPR. So King Sphinx, because King Sphinx was a very, very challenging monster for Jason to face during pressing engagement. Though in the exact same episode when they showed how the Rangers would form the Megazord for the first time, but didn't they already show the Megazord transformation back in Day of the Dumpster? Well, again, the coincidence based on what was given from the Zoo Ranger footage. I wish that they should have never showed that, how they formed the Megazord again. I think they already nailed it the first time, but it's just with the extension of them with the crystals and stuff. King Sphinx had Jason isolated when he was transported, and had the other Rangers separate, and then when Jason couldn't have the other Rangers help him, when he was trapped, and when Goldar grew giant with Sphinx, he was quite of a very, very formidable challenge for Jason. And I think King Sphinx ended up being one of the most popular season 1 monsters. I really like his pharaoh, lion, tiger, something-ish design with wings. And it's just, there's something striking about also that design of his, being a lion pharaoh themed monster. It's just, there's something about his design that's so iconic. And of course, like Pumpkin Wrapper, King Sphinx is another monster from season 1 who currently now has a Lightning Collection figure. And I will soon is another monster I will add to my line of Lightning Collection figures of Power Rangers. So those are my top 10 season 1 monsters. What do you think of this list? Next week, my countdown of my top 10 season 2 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers monsters.